So there was quite a bit. Not that Lucas Moura was aware of that statistic, to be fair, clearly, but so it was quite an uphill struggle for us. I mean, getting back to the whole what it was like when that happened. Oh my gosh! Just now, just thinking about it and just watching it again today, I felt the exhilaration again. I said to you, I've never burst into tears before, but I remember, because I did this, BBC Sport interviewed me about this, and I remember jumping up and running to the end of the living room and then just looking at my son. So he's at one end, I'm at the other end, and just staring at him, then hugged him so tight, and then ran upstairs because there was just mayhem. And my wife was upstairs in our bedroom just going, "Are you guys all right?" And I went upstairs and dropped to my knees and burst into tears, like Punch did, right? That's exactly what kind of Punch did. And I just started crying. It was just the years and years of being kind of also runs and the butt of the joke. It's happening again. It's happening again. All of that stuff just all came out. And this is why it's just such a great thing to be invested in your team, because of moments like that, right? Which can't be scripted. There's a collective moment. I mean, Twitter, that for the next few days afterwards, Tottenham Twitter was just extraordinary. And also neutral football Twitter, because of what Liverpool had achieved, but we went one further. So it was even more. So for a lot of neutrals, they were saying it was one of the most exciting games of football they'd ever seen, because it's just the timing, right? 95 minutes and 1 second it goes over the line. I mean, that is Roy the Rover stuff, right? That is Hollywood football stuff, right? Or soccer, as they would probably call it. So you kind of I'd never felt that before.
Well, there's also, and I don't know if you did feel this, but there's also, it's one of those goals where there's a tiny moment, it's probably 0.1 seconds, 0.2 seconds before the shot, where you sort of know he's going to score.
Yeah.
And so from a Sunderland fan's point of view, and clearly this is a lower tariff, but there was a game on New Year's Day, Sunderland at home to Manchester City, and it was 0-0 going deep into injury time, and G-Don-1 is suddenly through, and he sort of he tries to have a shot, and he sort of falls over himself, and in doing that he goes round, I guess Joe Hart, I can't remember who it was, but he goes round the keeper, and suddenly he's 4 yards out with an open goal. And I'm sort of in my armchair at home, because I was down in London at the time, and thinking, well, hang on, even G-Don-1 can't miss this. This is a goal, and that means we've won this game 1-0, because this is the 94th minute.
Yeah.
And so to have that little moment of, this has happened, this is going to happen, just before it does happen, they're my favourite, as a fan, they're my favourite type of goals.
I don't know if I thought that. I don't know if I thought it was going in. As soon as he got it, that's a really interesting thing to identify those nanoseconds.
Me as a neutral who was writing a piece on the game and dreading a Tottenham goal because it would mean a complete rewrite.
Yeah.
But also as...
Half time, press send. That's all good. I'm gonna watch that as a fan the last time.
But also as a fan of football who sort of wanted the comeback to happen, because that's the great story.
Sure.
Yes.
I definitely had that. Oh, he's done it before he did it.
Wow.
I agree. I had the same actually. To me, as soon as Ali makes that touch, I just was like, "That's in. That's a goal." But perhaps that's a neutral position.
No, I definitely didn't. No, I definitely didn't. I definitely didn't, because my reaction when it did go in, wasn't knew that it was. It was not
called that.
Yeah, exactly. Bang, knew that was going to happen. Right, son, get us a cup of tea with you, son. Right, go to the Champions League final, son. It wasn't that. It was like, oh, saying anything like this in my whole life. Right, so there was no deja vu in that moment. It was just the great, and that's why I always return to it. And I mean, for my son, there's still, win the Premier League, win trophies. He's got all of that he wants to do, and but it is going to take something extraordinary to ever top that, just because of the nature of how it happened. You know, if you win the Champions League, 4-2 or whatever, cool, it's brilliant. I would love to win the Champions League, but now we're into a situation where with Mourinho and with our new stadium, and I think we did the best business in the transfer window, with all of that and the building of this club onto another level, there's almost an expectation that in the next few seasons, we're going to win something, right? Leading up to this Champions League final, there was never an expectation, right, that we were going to get to this quarterfinals, get out of the group of death, get out of that, progress, get to the quarterfinals, get through the quarterfinals, get to semi-finals, half time, it's done, right? It's over. And then we're there. It's not just the result. Yeah. It's the entire build-up. It's all the emotions of decades of being a Spurs fan, everything hard into that moment. That's why we could talk in, 10 years' time, and we may have a whole trophy cabinet full of trophies by then. But I will still probably return to this moment, because I don't know how many moments like that happen in football to anyone, right? The 95th minute of a game in a Champions League, whereas at halftime you've been out. You are being out, right? I mean, I don't know, to create all of those elements again, it's of course never going to happen. So rather than saying ruined it for my son, right, it's kind of almost ruined it for me, because I just don't know if it's ever going to get as emotional as that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've said this on this podcast before, but when Sunderland beat Leeds in the FA Cup final in '73, which I'm very glad I wasn't alive for, because that would have ruined it, because I'd have been too young to understand it and appreciate it. But my dad, who'd been he'd been whistling for the final whistle for 20 minutes, and as soon as the final whistle blew, his initial reaction was sadness, because he knew it'd never be that good again.
Wow.
Hope springs eternal.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm going to see some amazing moments as a Spurs fan. I know I am, but that is just unbearable. Yeah.